What was he?
Spike.
Huh. Good meat.
And then he had an eye guard too. It was starting to fork at the top. Little tiny ones like that.
Oh,
He was a weird looking thing.
I found a shed this morning in the dark.
Pick it up?
Yeah, and I put it back down.
Why?
It was a nasty old deer shed.
Oh.
Icky.
So Terry's still sitting down there?
I assume so.
We haven't found him
He
yet.
hasn't he didn't come back to camp with us.
I figured he was down there, so that's why I went down that ridge.
Well, and we went down there. And
There's fresh sign all
I
through
told
there.
him to go down there and wait, you know, to see if you guys would show up.
Yeah, it was underneath that big log going sideways.
Ew. That sounds not fun.
Roll it over, kind of like this. I thought it was free. Hang on. You guys keep doing that a little bit. Let me get the hide off of you. Did it go?
Yeah?
Felt like that.
A little
Well,
bit.
I think we're just stuck on
Gnarly. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm free now. One you guys take one leg, one take the other. I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna cut it so we don't have to carry the whole thing.
I'm gonna attempt to carry the whole thing out.
No. You guys ready?
Pretty nice.
Okay.
Here's one bag.
Don't matter to me.
Don't matter. I was just trying to get
What
some.
would be nicer is a spot to sit it after I got it in the bag.
I was just trying to get some of it cleaned out of there. That one don't look too bad though, there, Aaron.
Right?
Yeah, that one's all right. A little bloodshot in the bottom up, but it's all right.
I'll grab it and then go get that pack and set it down so we can just sit down there. Get the jacket off and then can.
That's chilly. Yeah, you could just tie a knot around it or whatever. Okay, let's get the next one. Nicely done.
Heard of this.
There's a pack for him.
Here we go. Here, another one. And put front shoulders on it, whatever.
Which is where somebody else had left it.
Oh, wow, Aaron.
Damn, boy.
All right, try to pull it up. Get it off there.
Got a little bit up here still attached, Doug. Just like that.
How much bloodshot I got in that?
What?
Okay. Let's roll it over. I'll get the other front shoulder off. You good to roll that way, Aaron? What do you mean you're good enough?
Good enough.
Roll it right there and roll. Yeah, hold it. You got it.
I got hats on it, or buns on it.
You've had enough?
For this exact second. You want to sit yours here?
Nah.
I'll put it back on here in a second.
I'll grab an end of this thing.
Those are some weird horns.
Some weird horns, huh?
Well, this is second day of first season Coast Elk. My brother Aaron shot a spike yesterday, just south of here, right over on that hillside. I just got into a little herd of 5 down on this flat. It's coming down this ridge. I saw him, sat there and watched him for about 10 minutes, and I worked my way farther down here before they finally noticed me and worked their way over the hill. Buddy Trevor is coming in from that way. He's coming in through the timber into this thinned area. My dad's coming in from the other side. There's 2 thinned areas here. And right up where they meet, there's a main crossing the elk use, so he's crossing that. And there's a big flat down in the bottom of this. He's going to work his way around. So I'm going to get down in the bottom and wait for Trevor and my dad to work their way over to me. Meanwhile, our friend Terry is sitting over on that hillside. There's lots of elk in here. Plenty of food for them. We'll just see if we can get one today. Well, it's the 3rd day of Coast Elk season. I'm working my way down this ridge. There's a reprod patch that is divided by this creek drainage here with big timber that's been thinned on the other side. So I've just kind of been watching that big timber thinned area as I work my way down through this. Just been working my way down an elk trail. Found a little waterfall here to get a video of. So it rained quite a bit last night. We're hoping that maybe something moved back into the bottom of the thinned area. So I'm working my way down there. Let's see if we're right. Let's see if there's anything down there. Well, I just shot my elk. Gun smoke hasn't cleared. See the yellow patch right down there, just to the right of that tree? Man. Okay, so that last draw I was in, that last canyon, right across over there, where that waterfall was. I came down, when I got to the bottom of that creek, where it hits the main creek down there, I see a calf and a cow, and I heard elk talking to each other. I heard the chirps. Okay, so those elk were on this ridge here. Alright, so I was circling around this ridge, and I walked past this spike. There's a little hole underneath a fallen tree, and his head was stuffed in there. He was eating something out of there. He lifts his head out, I see horns, and I shot him. I mean, 20 yards. I came right up the side of this. I was side hilling around. I was gonna go over this ridge and drop on top of those elk I saw. And there he lays. In this canyon, to get back up to the road, is 1,500 feet vertical. I have a quarter mile to pack this thing out. Plus across the creek, which is flooding because it rained about 3 inches last night. So needless to say, I've got a lot of work ahead of me. But I got my elk. One spent cartridge. That's all it takes. These are 180 grain Nosler Accubons. Not like it matters what bullet you're using when you shoot him in the head. But let's get over to him. First, I'll go ahead and let my buddies know I shot one. They're down the hill from me. So let's put 3 shots in this tree here. I'm so far over here, I don't know if they'll hear it, but that's at least the signal. There's the elk. Alright, let's walk over there now. Alright, here we go. Look at that. He had his head all the way under here. He was getting all these mushrooms he could reach. Look at them all in there. That was his last meal. You can see all that dirt, that fresh dirt knocked in from his horns. I was walking across the side of that hill. I got past him, I got all the way up there. And all I see is a body with a head underneath the tree stump. And he pulled his head out. I went to shoot. I had my safety on still, so I took my safety off and drilled him. And not exactly sure how we're going to get this guy out. So what I'm going to do is I'll put him in the creek, let him start cooling. So we have a chainsaw winch that we might use to pull him out with. So I'll get him down in the creek, and then I'll see about getting some help. And that is a very steep hill over there. And the road is at the very top of it. Well, I got him in the creek, got kind of a dam built around him. I've built dams in a creek before, but never out of an elk. But well, there's lots of water flowing over him. I think that'll get him cooled off. I'm hauling him out with a chainsaw winch. It'd be better to haul him out without gutting it first so he doesn't fill up with dirt. And I think this way he'll cool off pretty quick. This water's probably 45 degrees. So we'll haul him out and then gut him once we get him up top. This is going to be quite a task just to get the winch down in here. So we'll see what we end up doing. We may not even use the winch. Might decide it's better just to haul him out in pieces. But I'll start making my way back up that hill all the way to the top, and then another 1.5 miles to camp. Well, I made it back across the creek to the side I should be on. Managed to do it without falling over too, so that's a bonus. And that elk I got is about 100 yards downstream, then up the creek on the other side. I tend to shoot them as far away from the road as possible. And the elk I first saw were on that low ridge on the opposite side of the creek. All I saw was 2. So when I saw them, I worked my way along that edge up top, and then I dropped down onto this flat, worked my way down there. You can see that first tree trunk that goes all the way across. I shimmied over on that, and then I started going up this hillside so I could circle around those elk that were coming up it this way. And as I was working my way around, that's where I saw that spike. My original game plan was to go to the left once I got down here to the creek. But I saw those elk and they kind of changed things up. So I'm even farther from the road than I originally anticipated. So I'm just sitting here drip drying a little bit. I took my boots off before I crossed. Even though they were already wet inside, I figured I might as well not soak them completely. And I don't see how the chainsaw winch is even remotely feasible here. I should have just gutted the elk out and then left it in the creek, but I'll go back and get help and get it all taken care of here in probably a couple hours. Well, I made it back up to the waterfall, which is about a quarter of the way up the hill. Across from me is the thinned area, which I was originally planning on hunting the bottom end of. I was going to go down this ridge and swing to the left and end up seeing those elk. So this is what the elk is going to come up out of, this trail. Out of a 1,500 foot deep canyon. So I'm making my way back up. And hopefully when I get back to camp, there'll be help there. Trevor came in off the opposite side, the same side I shot the elk on. He bombed down off of those big canyons over there. You can't even see him through the trees. There's the top of the one he came down, I think. Straight out there. So he may or may not be back yet, because that was a nice little walk for him this morning. But in any case, I'm rested up now. I'll start making my way up the hill again. Well, I made it back up to the road where I came in at. Surprisingly enough, I came out at the same spot I went in. And the elk made it easy. Got a little tree marked there where I need to go in at. And I flagged myself a trail all the way down the questionable part up here. This upper part is just tons of game trails zigzagging back and forth. So I marked my trail up through that, down to the ridge I drop off of. And now I got a 1.5 mile walk back to camp. And these are all closed roads, so after we get the elk up to here, we'll be walking a 1.5 miles back to camp with the elk on our back. So, time to get going. Gotta get this thing gutted, skinned, quartered. I'll get it quartered and I'll put on packs. Today we'll get one load out, and then tomorrow my brother Aaron will be back. They took Aaron's elk out last night and took it to the butcher today. So they'll be back in the morning. We'll get that thing packed out of here. Well, now that I'm up at the top again, I can show you guys where I got that elk at. Alright, not the big canyon coming off that hill straight across, but it'll be just, I'm pretty sure it's just in that little draw. No, it could be the bigger one. It's either one of those. Dropped off, hit the bottom, and then went to the right, so he's somewhere down in there. That's all I can say. I can't be sure, but he is somewhere down in there. The joys of hunting on the coast. And after about 3 inches of rain last night, we got sun. So we couldn't ask for a better day to shoot an elk. And that reprod patch right there is what we'll be packing it out through, which is about the best thing you could ever ask for. No undergrowth, except a few ferns, a few salmon berries, not much. And trails the whole way, so it'll be a 2-day ordeal, I'm sure, but we'll get it out. That trail is a lot worse than I recalled.
Yeah, it's just a little bit shitty, I reckon.
It's more like non-existent trail.
What?
It's more like a non-existent trail.
Well, you just start falling down the hill and decide, hell, let's go this way.
My boots barely even got wet. Yeah, I got less wet than I thought I would. I mean, there's water all the way down to my toes
My
and
right
both.
foot's dry. Sweet baby Jesus. Are that fit? Wow, the toes in my right foot are completely dry still.
I think I made a mistake crossing right there, because that's where it was knee deep. I should have gone up a little more. It was bouldery right there.
Oh well. What's done is done.
Calories. Well, almost dark and we're done. Really tired, it's been a long day. And we've still got a mile and a half out with our first load. Well, it's a mile and a half of gravel. I don't know how far it is just to get back up to the road. But we're on our way.
Well, it's the day after first elk season. I'm back up here for a special trip to Canada. I left it on the way out in the dark the day I shot it. And then the third day of the season. Right down there on the gravel bar. I got in my backpack and looked in my headlights. So I followed Trevor up. And by the time Trevor and I finished gutting, it was about 5 o'clock. Gutting and quarters had it all unpacked by about 5 o'clock. So we brought it all down here to the creek and then crossed to the other side. It's camped up that way. In the meantime, I went to the gun. Back down here to get it. Over there on the bank is the hide. Decided since I was all the way down here, might as well take the hide out because I had shot it at the base of the head. It's a good hide with no holes in it. Going down here, I might as well grab it. It's been pretty dry today, so I've had a chance to kind of drip dry. It's still pretty wet, but it's not waterlogged. See how this hide turns out. Hopefully it's better than my first one. First time I tanned the hide 3 years ago. I didn't know that you had to soften it as it dried, so I ended up with a thick board above hide pretty much. It rolls up, but it's pretty stiff. This time I'll soften it as it dries and we'll see how it turns out.
Check out this elk trail going along the creek. We travel through this area a lot, that's for sure. And across the creek. This will be easier than crossing a log with the hide. Oh, made it without falling in. The hide got a little bit wet. It's not too big of a deal. I'm glad these jackets have a drawstring at the bottom. Just perfect for hauling a hide. Well, I made it out of there with the hide. Down there, where that drainage comes in, is where this hide was hanging. There's one last look of where that elk came from. Now for a mile and a half back to the truck.